What's up, people? My name's Christian, big Last of Us fan. You can call me Miyagi-sensei too. That's obviously my online persona. I know it's probably kind of a lame name, but I've had it for fucking years, so just kind of stuck with it. It's like all my video game name tags or whatever, gamer tags. But I finally have my somewhat Last of Us room, I guess, or game room. I've had a bunch of stuff, and I've had this second room in my apartment forever, but I actually had my computer on that side of the wall, and my fucking power supply blew up because it had like a power surge multiple times. It freaked me out, so I never came back in this room, did anything with it. I just lived by myself. And then today I was really thinking, I was like, man, I really wish that I could have stuff behind me when I record. And so I just said, you know what, I'm going to try this. So I put everything on this side of the wall and put all my collectibles on that side. And I've been playing on the computer all day today. It's worked great. But yeah, today, the objective of this is to watch some director commentary of the cinematics for The Last of Us Part 1. I've seen majority of them, but I just wanted to go over some of them. Obviously, I'm not going to watch all of them because I'm going to save that for when I do my complete playthrough of the game. And I think I'm going to start working on that this week because it's probably going to be a long process. I also have literally like a script that I'm trying to work on, a Last of Us video that it's connected to my life and how it's impacted me and why I got my tattoo and stuff like that, and my weight loss journey that's kind of with it. I was really big. I was 519 pounds about a year and a half ago, and I've lost 307 pounds. So, and I know it's weird to say, but I do have a connection with The Last of Us with my weight loss journey, which is kind of funny. But anyways, we're going to go straight to the commentary for some of these cinematics and watch them because I love this game and I can't get enough of it. And I'm going to wear that backpack when I go meet Troy Baker this month. I'm super excited. And I have like a Last of Us really nice shirt that I'm going to wear. So I guess we'll watch the first one. Hopefully I've turned it on because I did this video a second ago and the commentary was not on. So I had to restart the whole video.
Hi, I'm Neil Druckmann, creative director.
There we go.
And I'm Troy Baker. I play Joel.
And I'm Ashley Johnson, and I play Ellie.
So first cinematic here. You'll see as we get to the end, I mean, this opening image, we wanted to match what we did at the end with image of Ellie.
Tommy, listen to me. He is the contract.
I think it's such an interesting thing to start off with, not only in the past, but also to start off basically.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were discussing as we're iterating on this opening sequence, because it used to be, it was all seen through Joel's eyes. But then it became a lot more interesting to think of it as you're seeing it through Sarah's eyes, because Sarah is really kind of, the whole game is about this relationship between Joel and Ellie, but here Sarah is kind of embodies what their relationship is going to eventually become.
And that was probably.
I also thought, I know this is pretty much in every apocalyptic story ever, but for some reason their story before the apocalypse happens, you know, pre-apocalypse, it was so good. It was like, this was perfect. I'm from the South, so I think this was obviously in Texas, the story was based, but where I'm at, a few states over to the, you know, Bible Belt, it's very similar to how Joel sounds, very similar to how Sarah sounds. I don't hear myself having a Southern accent, but I think I say some words, and I don't mean to. But yeah, I like it because they did a really good job. It seemed, I don't know if they really researched the South and how our Troy did for a Southern accent, but man, he killed it. I'm sure he did though. He's fucking great. So
One of the hardest roles to cast too with Sarah.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that came in, and I love that this scene was, you know, that was one of the audition scenes, and it was so amazing when Hannah came in that it just, I mean, what you're seeing right now, that was the chemistry, and she was amazing. It's like kind of like a younger Dakota Fanning. Just there's an old soul behind those eyes.
Yeah, and she could turn it on and off between each take.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, she was crazy. She's amazing.
It's always a little awkward, right? You have a 12-year-old someone on the set, and you're doing this pretty dark stuff.
Especially with the way that we work too.
All right, let's hold off on some of the jokes today, guys.
You started helping out with the mortgage then.
Yeah, you wish.
I love that joke.
And this piece of music, actually, we were struggling to find which piece to play here. And then Gustavo wrote this thing for the VGAs just to play before we showed the trailer. And right away I heard it, I was like, that's got to go in the opening. This is
Oh,
the
wow.
theme, kind of like the relationship between Joel and his daughter that later becomes the theme between Joel and Ellie.
That's fucking awesome. I didn't know that.
Pelican Drops,
Pelican Drops.
the name of the band on her T-shirt. And where did you get that?
My daughter came up with that. My 2.5-year-old daughter named one of her dolls that. And we're searching for a name for a band. I'm like, I got a name for a band.
No way. That's pretty cool. I guess I'll go next. Just watch a few of them. You know? But yeah, that was pretty cool.
So this is going to be the first time that I've ever seen this scene. This was one specifically that I really didn't want to once we did it. And when we first talked about doing this, in the very, very beginning, I knew this scene was going to come. And it was, I told you, I was like, give me a heads up when this day comes, because it's not going to be a good one.
Well, the thing with this scene, it's a super difficult scene to shoot. The first time we shot it, we did like at least 15 takes or something crazy like that. And then we thought we had it in the can. And
Well, I thought,
well, no, we all thought. We thought we came back to work and we started putting it in. And for me, there was just something that was, I felt like we could convey the same amount of emotion with less.
Yeah, I remember him saying
And it was a hard thing to tell Troy because everybody put so much into it, and it's like, we got to do it again.
Well, I remember that
We got to
day
come back to this.
when you came back and you told me that we have to do this again. Obviously, you know, you'll see why what we're talking about. But this is the defining moment for Joel.
This scene, oh my gosh. So I was 21 when The Last of Us came out. I just got the game, got home, I was playing it, and my mom, I still lived with my mother at the time, and my mom was in the living room, and she was actually about to go leave to go do something. I think she was leaving for the weekend, and so I called her in there, and I was like, hey, watch this scene with me, you know. So I restarted it and played it and then got through it, and man, we were just both so emotional. Like I had no idea, like, in the long run how much this is gonna mean to me. And man, it's crazy. I mean, she was crying, I was crying. It was crazy. I never felt like that with almost any media, to be honest. Like, trying to think of something else that I really like. Absolutely, I didn't like Boo-hoo. Part 2 is when I fucking broke down. But this one, I was like, damn, this is fucking crazy, you know? For an opening of a game, like, this is going to be amazing. I think at this point I knew this is going to be absolutely, like, untouchable for me. To anything to be comparable.
This is where he draws that line in the sand where he has few moral lines left to cross.
That last little scream, man.
I'm so amazed with how well Hannah did. And
Yeah, she did
Yeah,
great.
I mean, it was difficult to watch just on the mocap stage. And we actually
Oh, I
had
can
people,
imagine.
after a few takes, leave the set. They were like, I can't watch this anymore, and they just took off. But from a story standpoint, it's so important to show just what the violence does and how it, like, rips apart this family.
well, then especially a lot of times in video games, you see blatant violence, but when you personify it and you put it on a face, especially that young face, and you see the devastation that just one life lost can do, and it's just, I mean, this was such a hard day. It was such a hard day for both of us. I mean, it was exhausting for her. It was exhausting for me.
Yeah, I remember I've seen clips of him talk about it in the Grounded documentary. He's
So
like-
the opening credits.
so that's pretty cool.
The thing with the opening, initially we didn't want to do opening credits. We didn't even have the idea for this. But the jump felt too sudden to go from Sarah dying to then 20 years.
Also, I don't know if he says it on here, but I remember watching a clip on the director's commentary on part 2 on Twitter. That the spores there you were seeing is real clips that the team from Naughty Dog made in a bathtub. Those are real spores, and they just put a video camera there and watched them grow, which is fucking awesome. Like, that's real fucking.
Years later,
And making up.
we found that
Not spores,
when
but
people watched it in
mushrooms,
succession, they're not
algae,
paying
shit like
attention
that or
when we
whatever.
start introducing
I don't know if
tests in
this
the
is
world because they're still
cordyceps.
recovering from Sarah dying. So we're like, okay, well, let's
I'm sure
have
it is.
this opening sequence that can kind of help bridge the gap. and just had the idea of just seeing this time-lapse video of fungus growing, because so much of the disease and the outbreak is based on this cordyceps fungus that spread through spores. So we contacted a group at Sony San Diego who did this whole opening sequence for us, and they actually got these fungal kits where they grew fungus like in their bathrooms and filmed this over like days to produce this thing.
Okay, so I was a little.
So everything-
So they actually hired somebody. See, I got a little miscorrected, but I knew it was in the bathroom. I remember the main one, the main key. But that's cool.
The thing you're seeing is actually it's real. It's not CG. It's not.
It's all
organic.
so except for the spores at the end, which are CG. Everything is real.
That's cool as hell.
This whole journey is like a dreamlike state, and you constantly see people waking up. And you see this multiple time with Joel, and it's as if he's like remembering the past. He's
Yeah.
always having these bad dreams throughout the game.
That was always something that we had to keep in mind when we did this scene, because we shot this before we shot Sarah dying scene. So it's kind of like we knew that those were going to be in,
Yeah, I
in,
think this
in
was
one
the
way or
first
they're kind
one.
of butted up against each other. But this is such a great thing. Again, this was in the audition thing that we did when we were trying to find Tess. And when Annie walked in, it was just like,
I've seen this one a lot. I'm gonna go to. There's one that I specifically want to watch. Where is it at? It should be not University. Is it End of Suburbs? Yeah. Man, watching this in the show, they did so good. They did really good on this. With, man, I'm excited. It's sad to watch this, but I think it's genuinely
This
really
is the
really
longest
short
cinematic
scene.
in the game.
good. Don't vape.
We quit this
I
place.
had to fit that in there. Quit this place from this, since we had it
Right.
in the first trailer.
I can't quit you.
I remember when we first, the very, very beginning of this, when we like did the first table read through this and everything, and we talked about, I asked if there was going to be a moment of
Tommy's birthday.
just a light shining through in this darkness, and you talked about this scene, and at that point it was just really kind of just real easy brushstrokes of what it was going to be, and it really came into fruition and became this
Well, all the characters here have their guard down. It's kind of
Yeah.
unique because usually somebody's lying or somebody's hiding something.
Right.
And here's like everybody has their guard down.
they're just talking about motorcycles.
You two deserve a little privacy.
And you were really giving too on this. We spent a lot of time on this, and there was this one scene where you just kind of let me ramble about you know, to where we really feel like we're coming midway into a conversation. I don't remember what was said, but it was just this cool moment.
But you went more into the details of like with Tommy and where you went and the states and all that stuff. I think that really helped kind of make this, the following takes much more natural.
Right, without all the rest of that
Yeah.
stuff, the preamble being there. But I love the turn that he gives right here. It's like the kids have gone to bed now, and we can just talk like adults.
Worst part about it all.
Animation and lighting, right? If you don't capture these looks in the eyes, this scene doesn't work.
Right. The thing that I love about this is that he's set up a little office for himself, kind of like what Henry did. You know, it's this,
What are you doing?
I'm being official, trying to be a grown-up. He's still a kid, and we see it in this moment.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed working with Brandon and Najee. Just having them on set was so much fun. They're such
Najee
good
especially,
dudes.
like
Najee's
Also, I think the show did something that was really, really cool. And I think even Neil said that he wishes he would have thought about it because Craig Mazin thought about it. He made him deaf. And man, how crazy of a change was that? And it made it so intense and sad whenever he finally turned. Man, it was brutal.
hilarious.
we're doing this crazy scene and we
It
like
just
cut
made it
and then he's like
something
just starting dancing.
totally
or,
Or
Yeah.
singing whatever, YouTube hot song at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, song bombing
And
us all
the
day.
crazy part about it, sorry I keep stopping, but so when he's turned and Ellie wakes up from the chair and he's just sitting there, he doesn't hear her. So he's just, he doesn't hear anything to go attack. So Ellie thinks, oh, he's not moving crazy or doing anything like he's infected. He must be fine because he's just sitting up over the bed like this. And she goes up and touches him and he turns around and, it's Man, that was just a smart cinematography and smart writing from Neil and Craig. That was pretty neat. I like that.
They were so much fun. I just adore them too.
Is everything all right?
You got an opportunity to put so much of you into Ellie.
That's just because I can't write, so I just listen to Ashley talk and it was like, oh, that's a good line.
Yeah, that's not true, dude. You're a good writer. Come on.
That's giving me way too much credit.
Ashley's great though, obviously.
It's like
Says that I'm not.
putting up the defense, making joke of it, as Ellie does.
Yeah.
And then seeing when she needs to, because that's the only way she's going to cheer him up. She's going to open up to him.
Yeah.
And also, she kind of throws at that bone, like, you know, scorpions are pretty creepy. That's not what I want to talk about.
Being by myself.
Which again, all this stuff she's saying here plays into what happens later when she finds out Joel's trying to give her up. He's giving her away to Tommy.
Yeah.
Those things out there. What if the
And it's
people
kind of the
who
same
sense
thing we're
it-
seeing with Tess,
What if they're trapped
to
in
where
one
she
body and
was,
control their body?
again, she knows what's going on, he knows what's going on, but it's looking externally for some kind of either comfort or hope or answer
Yeah.
or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just always come up empty.
I guess one thing I'm just thinking about now, which is all the stuff Sam is going through because he's bitten, is probably the stuff Ellie went through when she was first bitten, because she thought she was going to turn.
Yeah.
And it just happens that she was immune. But so that's what she kind of,
Do you think that's true?
all these realizations she's had.
I go back and forth. I mean, I'd like to believe it.
That's a powerful thing for essentially.
It's kind of
Kid
sad
to
because
say.
that's not what Sam wants to hear. He
Right.
wants to
Yeah.
hear that it's all going to be all right.
Right.
But she doesn't
Yeah.
realize that's what
No,
he
death is terrible. It's a horrible, painful process, and you're all alone. You know.
Almost forgot.
Brutal.
There. If he doesn't know about it, he can't take it away. All right.
This did make me sad because,
I'll see you tomorrow.
you know, he spent that whole night alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Henry didn't go back in there.
I let him sleep in, just like.
Yeah, let
Oh.
him sleep in.
Oh.
And that was the last conversation he had. And that always made me so sad after I read that because I was like, oh,
Yeah,
That
I didn't
is
even think
sad.
about that. And what would have happened if Henry had gone in there? I mean, the fact that
Smells good.
that Henry wasn't there, I mean, plays into, you know, the culmination of this scene where he's just racked with guilt.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing we're very
Just
conscious of when putting the
stacks.
story together is we would have these really kind of dramatic moments that change the characters significantly, and then we would cut to some more time in the future.
Yeah.
And so you don't get to see right afterwards what happened to it, and then you get hints of how this affected the relationship, which is what you get into the next gameplay sequence. And this whole thing is, it's a huge change in Joel here, because now he sees, this is what's going to happen to me. The same thing that's happening to Henry right now is what would happen to me if I'm going to keep going and let Ellie get hurt.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's going to, after this moment, he makes the choice, like, I need to give her to Tommy.
Man, this scene was really, really hard when I first watched it.
I have no idea what that would do to a person to actually see that, to have to do that.
Yeah.
And
All I
remember
could
talking
think
with
about was
Brandon
my
about
brother
this
at
when
the
he's saying
time.
it's all your fault. He's not talking to Joel, he's talking to himself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, easy.
Yeah, the thing that's cool with this piece, Gustavo's music, is that you're carrying that weight. You're carrying the weight of that emotion of everything just happened onto the next scene, which even though they might not be thinking about Henry and Sam right this moment, but it's just that feeling is lingering going forward.
Yeah, I was just putting myself in Henry's shoes when I watched that the first time, because I have a little brother, and he's way younger than me. But yeah, I wouldn't know what to do. Let's see. I guess we can go. Watch one more.
I own that
Why
shit.
not?
I'm pretty
I
sure
still think we
am.
should sell off our mocap suits
Oh,
for charity.
cool.
Unwashed.
Jeffrey Pierce,
There he is.
Ashley Scott. Sorry, Ashley Hart.
Oh yes.
Ashley Hart. She was married.
We didn't know the place was occupied. We're just trying to make our way through.
Through to where?
They're all right.
But you know these people?
Know him. He's my
The
goddamn brother.
chemistry was so good between
The two of
you
them.
and Jeffrey.
It was amazing how well, and I mean, Jeffrey's just a few years older than me, but it was interesting playing the older brother to him. And yeah, we felt like brothers immediately. It was crazy.
Oh, well, Jeffrey came. I mean, we almost cast Jeffrey
Yeah.
as Joel.
Oh wow.
And then once, like months later, we needed to cast Tommy. I was like, oh,
Well-
what's Jeffrey Pierce doing? That's what he-
For not blowing my head off.
That's cool. I did not
And
know that.
embarrassing, considering you're my brother-in-law.
And Ashley Scott, she came really close to being cast as Tess. And
Yeah.
when we needed Maria, I was like, oh,
We
Ashley
got a
Scott.
perfect person.
There were no auditions for these roles.
I love this awkward setup of this is how he meets his sister-in-law. How he meets
Yeah.
Jeffrey, you know, or Tommy's wife.
Story.
Why don't we bring him inside?
And you just get to see here now how Ellie's starting to become more secretive.
Well, also, it's
Guarded.
like the way they're standing and everything. It's like Ellie's kind of alone now. Like now, it's like Joel is with Tommy, and
There's no one familiar with Ellie.
Yeah, that makes sense. We'll watch one more. I like that. I had no clue that Jeffrey was supposed to be or Joel, and then they found Troy. That's interesting. Cause I love him as Tommy. I can't see or really hear anybody but him being Tommy. Now the show, the guy, I'm sorry, I do not know the actor's name from the guy from the show, but he did a good job, and he does sound just like Jeffrey. So they did a good job on that. Let's play another one.
It's quite the crew you got here.
They're good men. This place gives them a second
the
chance.
theme of redemption.
Gives us all a second chance. So why'd you leave Boston?
We went through this so many times,
I've been on quite the adventure.
and each one of them I thought was great in its own little version. It was just kind of like trying to pick the right one. But this is where you get to see
Well, Joel's putting up a front here. I mean, he's trying to.
he's pitching his little
yeah.
brother. And it's so interesting to see them slip how they're two different men, but they instantly go back into those roles that they were before.
And just by the behavior here, you get hints of what happened in those 20 years.
Right.
How dark things went.
Why bring her here? Supposed to deliver to the fire.
Like they're playing nice.
Right, they were happy to see each other, but now it's like,
It's
oh,
right
right,
underneath the
you
surface.
haven't changed.
You know where they are. Now, I'm not asking for
And that's so true to life. Like especially with brothers, you go back to that. I push these buttons and you do this.
This isn't for me, Tommy. This is for your damn cause.
My cause is my family.
And I loved, what Jeffrey was doing posture-wise,
Jesus, boy.
putting Joel on the offensive.
And now he's just like insulting everybody here and insulting his wife.
Tommy, I need this.
Again, just Joel just expects. I tell my little brother to do something, he needs to do it.
Right.
But I ain't taking that
Which
girl
is
home.
totally based on my brother.
This is how you gonna repay me, huh?
Repay you.
For all those goddamn years I took care of us.
Took care. That's what you call it? I got nothing but nightmares from those years.
You
From those years, I would love to see a fucking game with right after fucking Sarah dying, and then them, becoming whatever they became those rough years. I would love to see that story. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I really do hope one day, because I feel like that it could lead up right up to the point to where, right before he meets Tess, or when he meets Tess, or during that time. Man, I would love that.
survived because of me.
It wasn't worth it.
Switch between playing
Tommy
Tommy
here,
and Joel.
Tommy and Maria
Sick.
shows that even in this world is horrible, you could find peace in it.
Right.
You could build a community. You don't have to resort to these things that Joel has.
That line was a great thing that Jeffrey improv'd on. put your hands on me again. It's a good Southern phrase.
So Troy was thinking about Southern phrases and stuff. I mean, obviously, I kind of knew that he was gonna be like that. Obviously, you know, he cares about his roles and actually does his research. But yeah, I guess it's not really much of a video, but I just wanted to do something before I had to go to work. The end of the weekend, I had a lot of stuff I had to do yesterday. I wish I could have made more content, but throughout this week, Last of Us gameplay. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna at least try to get 3 or 4 videos out this week, and then the weekend do some, and then the next weekend I will be going to Pensacon to meet Troy Baker. I don't know if I'm gonna record going through that because I feel like I don't know if I'm going to like enjoy trying to record or if I just want to enjoy my time, just go there, actually have a great time, or you know, I might just record a few things on my phone and then make a little video connection on here on YouTube or something. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and if you guys want more Last of Us content, just let me know. If not, I'm still probably going to keep making it because I just love this game, and I finally have the computer to be able to make the content. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.